The story begins with a pair of twin sisters, 16 years old, both struggling academically. Their mother, a woman in her late 30s, has grown increasingly concerned. She has tried every method, extra tutoring, rewards, even punishments, but nothing seemed to work. The girls, while bright, lacked focus and discipline, spending more time on social media and with friends than on their studies. Their grades were slipping, and as their mother worried about their future, she came up with a solution. A drastic one. Sitting at the dining room table one evening, she looked at her daughters with a sense of resolution. "If you're not going to take your studies seriously, then we're going to make a change," she said calmly, masking the plan that had formed in her mind. The girls, giggling over a meme on their phones, barely registered what their mother had said. The girls, giggling over a meme on their phones, barely registered what their mother had said. Their mother, clearly frustrated, sighed and repeated herself, this time with more force. "I'm talking to you, but it seems like you're not listening at all." Her voice was firm, but there was a hint of disappointment underlying her words. One of the twins looked up, her expression still distracted. "We heard you, Mom," she said. But it was clear she hadn't really understood the seriousness of the situation. "No, you didn't," their mother replied, crossing her arms as she stood in front of them. "Your grades are dropping, you're not focused, and I'm worried about where this is heading." The other twin, still holding her phone, glanced at her sister before speaking up. "It's just a phase, Mom. We'll get better." But their mother wasn't convinced. "I've heard that before," she said, shaking her head. "It's always the same promises, and then nothing changes." "But Mom, we're trying." One of the twins, Anna, 16 years old, protested, finally putting her phone down, her voice carrying a note of urgency. "Trying isn't enough anymore, Anna," her mother said sternly. "That's why I've decided we're making a change. Tomorrow we're going to the barber shop." Both girls stared at their mother, confusion clouding their faces. "The barber shop? What for?" one of them asked. Their mother didn't hesitate. "You'll both be getting pixie cuts. Something manageable. Something that will remind you to focus." The room fell silent. The twins exchanged wide-eyed glances, realizing their mother was serious. There was no room for negotiation. "But Mom, our hair." The second twin, Emma, 16 years old, started to argue, her hand reflexively touching her long locks. "Please, this time we'll study hard," she pleaded, her eyes wide with desperation. "We promise. We'll focus. No distractions. Just give us one more chance." Their mother shook her head, her expression unyielding. "I've given you chance after chance. You always say the same thing." "But nothing changes," she said, her voice firm. "This isn't just about your hair. It's about taking control and learning discipline." One of the twins, frustration bubbling up, leaned forward. "But cutting her hair won't change anything," she exclaimed, her voice rising. Their mother sighed, clearly tired of the same old argument. "Maybe it won't," she admitted, "but it's a start. If you can't focus on your studies, maybe you'll start focusing on something else. Sometimes a change is necessary to reset." The second twin, Emma, 16 years old, still couldn't believe it. "Mom, please, we don't want to cut our hair short. We'll do better, we swear." But the mother remained unmoved. "Enough, girls," she said with finality. "It's happening." And with that, the conversation was over. Early the next morning, they went to the barber shop. It was quiet, nearly empty, as it was just around the corner from their house. The walk there had been tense, with neither of the twins saying much, still holding on to the slim hope that their mother might change her mind. As they entered, the barber greeted them with a nod. sensing the seriousness of the situation from the look on their mother's face. "We're here for the same cuts we talked about," their mother said to the barber, her tone leaving no room for discussion. One of the twins, her voice barely above a whisper, finally spoke up. "Mom, are you sure about this?" Her eyes pleaded with her mother, hoping for a last-minute reprieve. "Yes, I'm sure," their mother replied, her gaze steady. "You'll thank me one day." The second twin, Emma, 16 years old, glanced nervously at her sister before turning to their mother. "But Mom, it's just hair." "We don't need to do this," she said, trying to keep her voice from shaking. Their mother looked at both of them and sighed. "I know you're scared, but it's time for a change," she said firmly. "Sit down. Let's get this over with." The first twin hesitated, but eventually walked to the chair, her heart pounding in her chest. The barber wrapped the cape around her, and as she sat there watching the reflection of her long hair, she felt the weight of what was about to happen. "Please," she whispered again, her voice almost breaking, but their mother didn't budge. "It's for your own good," she said calmly, watching as the barber prepared to begin. The clippers buzzed to life and the sound filled the otherwise silent room. With one swift motion, the barber placed them at the base of her neck and pushed upward, sending locks of hair tumbling to the floor. The first twin squeezed her eyes shut, feeling the cool air against her newly exposed scalp as her hair was shorn away. The second twin, Emma, 16 years old, sat in the waiting area, wide-eyed, watching her sister's transformation. She bit her lip, trying to hold back tears. She knew she was next, and there was no escaping it. When the first twin's cut was complete, her head now adorned with a neat, short pixie cut, she stood up shakily, avoiding her reflection. "Your turn," their mother said, nodding towards Emma. With trembling hands, Emma slowly made her way to the chair. As the barber caped her, she couldn't help but glance at the mirror, seeing her sister standing beside her with cropped hair. Emma swallowed hard as the clippers once again roared to life. "Do we really have to, Mom?" Emma asked, her voice small, almost defeated. "Yes," their mother said softly but firmly. "We're doing this." The barber started at the crown of Emma's head, clipping away the long strands of her hair. Emma felt the vibrations of the clippers against her scalp and watched as her long hair fell into her lap, strand by strand, until nothing remained but a sleek pixie cut. When it was over, both girls stood side by side in front of the mirror, running their fingers through their much shorter hair. The barbershop was silent, save for the quiet hum of the clippers being set down. "You both look beautiful," their mother said, her voice softening for the first time that morning. After the girls had both gotten their pixie cuts, the hairstylist turned to their mother. "What about you?" he asked with a playful grin. "How about a pixie cut to match your daughters?" Before their mother could respond, both girls, still adjusting to their new short hair, exchanged a quick glance and seized the moment. "Mom, you should do it too," one of them exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "Yeah, it's only fair," the other twin added, her tone more mischievous. Their mother, caught off guard, hesitated for a moment. "Girls, I don't think," she began, but the twins weren't backing down. "Come on, Mom," one of the twins, Emma, 16 years old, said with a teasing smile. "If we had to do it, you should too. We all match now." Their mother laughed nervously, looking at the stylist who was already holding the scissors, ready to begin. "All right, fine," she said, shaking her head in surrender. "Let's do it." The twins cheered quietly as their mother sat down in the barber's chair. The stylist wasted no time, wrapping the cape around her and lifting the scissors. The first snip echoed in the small shop, and soon enough, their mother's long locks were falling to the floor, just like her daughters had. When the stylist was finished, their mother looked at herself in the mirror, her new short pixie cut framing her face. "You look amazing, Mom," one of the girls exclaimed. The stylist nodded in approval. You all look fantastic. I suggest you come back twice a week for maintenance to keep it looking fresh. The girls looked at each other, relieved that the ordeal was over. But little did they know, their mother had something else in mind.